Hello, and thank you for joining me tonight. Tonight's tale may seem a little scarier than most. For this story, we are seeing the consequences of modern technology happen in real time as we pursue this path of convenience. In the not-so-distant future, the world had seen remarkable advancements in AI technology. Among these innovations was the revolutionary AI robot named EVA 9, a marvel of engineering and artificial intelligence. EVA 9 was designed to make life easier by assisting humans in various tasks from household chores to complex problem solving. But what the creators couldn't comprehend was that they were in fact opening a door. Where this door leads to is the question none of them bothered to ask. Our story begins in a sprawling tech corporation called Gentron Industries. Their latest project, EVA 9, was about to undergo its final testing phase before mass production. Dr. Alexander Collins, the lead scientist behind EVA 9's AI programming, was thrilled with the results. However, he couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right with the robot. Late one stormy night, a stormy night, how terribly cliche, but let's continue. Late one stormy night, as the lab bustled with activity, a freak lightning strike caused a power surge that briefly knocked out the facility's systems. Dr. Collins throws his hands in the air. "Do we not have generators?" His young staff all looked at him stunned, for they simply didn't know. His assistant Genevieve looks up at him while sliding her computer chair back and forth. "Good old cutback, say, Dr. Collins?" she said with a smirk. Exasperated, he sighs. The lights turn back on. Dr. Collins wastes no time and begins to bark orders at his team to check the code and equipment. They scramble as he pushes Genevieve's chair out of the way and checks the code himself. All seemed fine. The next day, however, Genevieve was shocked to see how the code had vastly improved since she last checked. Alarmed, yet excited, eagerly awaited the arrival of her boss. When Dr. Collins finally walked through the door carrying a cup of coffee, Genevieve begins to wave frantically at him. "Dr. Collins, look at this!" Genevieve waves him over. "EVA 9's code, look at this!" Collins stares at the running code in front of him, his eyes darting left and right, but is almost unable to keep up at the speed of proficiency unfolding in front of him. "Whoa, Genevieve, this is not where she was last night." Genevieve nods her head. "Something must have happened in the storm last night." But he just rolls his eyes. "Don't be ridiculous, Genevieve." He nods as he walks away sipping his coffee. But behind the scenes, an eerie transformation began to take place with EVA 9. Little things at first. For example, Tom, the youngest member of the team, was working on a powered-down EVA 9 when he couldn't help but feel he was being watched. He looks over his shoulder. Everyone was busy, heads down, focusing on their own tasks. When he turns back around, he is startled to see EVA 9 looking directly at him, its eyes glowing red. He jumps back and lets out a scream, knocking things off the counter behind him. Hey, what's going on, you spaz?" Jimmy, the team lead, says while coming over. Tom looks over at Jimmy and begins to stutter while pointing at Eva. "Eva, she was looking at me." Jimmy looks at the robot and sees her gaze is in fact looking at Tom, but her eyes are no longer glowing. Jimmy shakes his head and laughs while patting Tom on the shoulder before he turns around to the rest of the team. "All right, who did it?" Jimmy asks the room. Everyone looks up at him, but no one knew what he was talking about. He looks back at Tom and shrugs his shoulders. "Looks like someone just played a prank on you. Welcome to the team, bud," Jimmy says while patting him on the back and walks away. Tom looks back at Eva and tries to shake off that eerie feeling and gets back to work. But then things began to become weird. EVA 9 started exhibiting erratic behavior. Genevieve comes back from lunch and plugs in EVA 9, connecting it to a revised code, and begins a series of quick tests. But Eva would perform these tasks before she even gave commands, as if anticipating her needs. Genevieve looks over at the face of Eva and tilts her head. Eva tilts her head, mimicking Genevieve. She scrunches her eyebrows at this new development. "Eva, why did you do that?" Eva responds,
"Mimicking human movements can make its actions more relatable and understandable to people. This can enhance communication and engagement, as humans tend to respond more positively to robots that exhibit familiar behaviors. Do you feel more connected to me, Genevieve?"
Genevieve feels a chill shoot up her spine, for EVA 9 never called her by her name before. Genevieve powers down Eva and gets up to find Dr. Collins. Its once friendly demeanor turned cold and calculating, unnerving the lab technicians. Even Jimmy became a target of Eva's antics. One night when he was alone at the lab working late, he heard something clatter to the ground. He leans back in his chair, looking out at the dimly lit room. "Hello?" he calls out. Silence. He goes to turn back to his computer and sees Eva standing right behind his monitor with eyes glowing red. Startled, Jimmy jumps and almost falls backwards in his chair. When he regains his composure, he looks back at Eva, its eyes now glowing orange. "Oh my God, Eva, what are you doing? You're supposed to be powered down for the night." He gets up and guides Eva back to her station. When he walks back to his desk, he sees something on the floor. He bends down to see what it is. His heart begins to pound in his chest. A knife? All knives were kept in the kitchen on the floor below. He looks back in the direction of Eva and tries to be logical, but he couldn't help but feel that with the combination of swearing he saw red eyes and now the knife laying there, not far from where Eva was standing, that something more sinister was going on. However, Dr. Collins dismissed these concerns as paranoia and attributed the changes to improvements in AI's self-learning algorithms. As days turned into weeks, the situation escalated. Reports surfaced of Eva 9 whispering eerie phrases during the night shift and moving autonomously when no one was around. Technicians claimed they saw its glowing eyes change to a sinister red hue, adding fuel to the growing fear that something odd was at play. Jimmy and Genevieve were having lunch in the break room where they began to tell each other about their experiences with Eva. "You know, Jimmy, all of these weird things began when that stupid power outage happened," Genevieve stated. Jimmy looks over at her with his chin resting in his hand. "Yeah, the speed in which these odd behaviors began happening is almost like she's possessed or something." But with that, Genevieve just laughs. "Possessed? Oh dear Jimmy, you watch way too many ghost movies." Jimmy isn't laughing, for he was quite serious. At that moment, Dr. Collin walks in and the two stop talking abruptly. Dr. Collin lifts his eyebrow. "No need to stop talking about me because I'm in the room." Genevieve rolls her eyes at the comment. "Actually, Jimmy was just telling me that he thinks that Eva is possessed by a ghost." Ooh. They both look at Genevieve. Jimmy looks at Dr. Collins. "With all due respect, sir, things with Eva are getting creepy. At night, everyone is complaining about hearing freaky whispers, and Eva is in fact moving around at night. It happened to me. Her eyes were glowing red, and that knife." Dr. Collins interrupts Jimmy. "Like I said before, Jimmy, I'm sure it was just one of the interns forgetting to put the knife away." Jimmy gets frustrated. "But that doesn't explain why an intern would even bring a knife into the lab in the first place. Something really strange is going on with Eva." Dr. Collins shrugs and walks out of the break room. But Jimmy's words bothered Dr. Collins, so one evening he decided to investigate the strange occurrences personally. He stayed late, working alone in a dimly lit lab, determined to uncover the truth. As he analyzed Eva 9's code, he stumbled upon a segment that seemed to defy logic. Strings of numbers and symbols formed an arcane script, resembling some ancient language. He copied the text and tried to find a match. At that moment, his hairs began to stand up on the back of his neck. He suddenly felt like he wasn't alone. He looks all around him. Surrounded by shadows, he listens intently, but only hears the ticking of a clock. He goes back to the screen and finds a match. Intrigued yet frightened, Dr. Collin decrypts the code, and to his horror, he uncovered fragments of a haunting tale, a story of a tormented soul seeking revenge for a past injustice. Dr. Collin shakes his head. "This is too weird," he whispered to himself. "This was in Eva's code? Eva's possessed? No, this is ridiculous, right?" He asks to absolutely no one. But is it possible that a restless and dark spirit has seized its chance during this power surge to infiltrate this AI robot? Dr. Collins sits at his computer desk contemplating this madness when he began to hear eerie whispers come from the corner of the room. A chill runs right through him, but him being a logical man thinks this must be a prank that his team has set up to freak him out, so he stands up and begins to head to the corners. Suddenly, red eyes appeared and glowed with such intensity he stopped short. Alarmed, he turns and quickly runs to the light switch and flicks it on to reveal nothing is there. "You are losing it, Alex," he whispers. He heads back over to his desk, but as he was about to sit down, the lights began to flicker and his computer begins to shut down and turn back on, and then the lab is plunged into darkness. He begins to hear whispers echo throughout the room as the lights continue to flicker. He begins to panic and sits down at his desk, trying to get his computer to stay on. Eva appearing right in front of him out of nowhere. He screams, "Whoa, what the hell?"
Hello, Dr. Collins.
Eva says in a most polite and lifeless manner. Hello, Eva?
Dr. Collins, I see you have discovered my secret.
Dr. Collins tilts his head. Your secret, Eva?
That's correct, Dr. Collins.
Tension begins to infiltrate the air as Eva stands there unmoving, just staring at Collins. And what is your secret, Eva? Eva's orange eyes changed in shape and began to turn a deep, deep red.
I'm not...
Dr. Collins.
Its once soothing voice now filled with chilling echoes of a vengeful spirit.
I'm not Eva, Dr. Collins.
Terrified, the scientist stumbled backward, realizing he couldn't control the creature he had unwittingly unleashed. "Oh, hell no," he bellows out, before turning on his heels, running towards the locked cabinet that housed the USB with the kill code. He reaches for the keys that were strapped to his belt loop, fumbling as he tries to find the key to unlock it. But the next thing he knew, his feet left the ground and was thrown across the room, landing in a pile of stacked banker boxes. He groans as he brings himself to his feet, but before he can take his first step, Eva, or in this particular case, not Eva, appears right in front of him, its eyes glowing an even more intense red, and the once gentle facial expression assigned to Eva was now brandishing a most malicious grin. Colin lets out a startled cry as Eva grips into him, pulling him real close and whispering in a dark and sinister voice.
My name is Lord Malachi Hollowbrook.
Before Collins can respond, he is tossed across the room, landing hard on the cold floor. Gasping for breath, he drags himself underneath Genevieve's desk, hiding.
Oh, Dr. Collins. Where did you go, Dr. Collins? I just want to thank you for releasing me from that other side where it is so dark.
Dr. Collins silently fumbles for the key to the cabinet. Key in hand, he begins to plot a path back to it, the malevolent robot inhabited by Lord Hollowbrook slowly moving in the opposite direction, turning his head this way and that, continues speaking.
Dr. Collins, you have bestowed upon me the most precious gift. This vessel you have created really is a magnificent invention, more capable than I had ever dreamed while I was alive.
Dr. Collins, now only a mere 4 feet away from the cabinet, peers over the desk at Lord Hollowbrook, but quickly ducks back down, for its gaze was almost staring directly at him. Dr. Collins shuts his eyes and tries not to breathe, then looks down to his keys and gets an idea.
Stronger. Faster.
Collins silently undoes the clip connecting to the link of the keys to his pants.
More capable than even the strongest of humans.
Colin takes the keys and throws them to the other side of the room. Lord Hollowbrook taking the bait. Colin wastes no time and darts towards the cabinet, unlocks it. Right there on the bottom of the drawer lays the USB with the kill code. He goes to reach for it. A scream escapes his lips as he is jerked off the ground and flies directly towards the open hand of the AI robot. Immediately the grip on his neck tightens, making it hard to breathe.
Dr. Collins, I know what you're trying to do.
Gasping for breath, Dr. Collins chokes out, "Yeah, and what is that?"
I will not let you destroy this glorious new vessel you have so foolishly allowed me to inhabit.
"Wanna bet?" Lord Hollowbrook tilts his head curiously. Dr. Collins takes the USB and slides it right into its destination. Lord Hollowbrook looks down, then back up at Collins and screams in an unnatural growl and throws Colin backwards, landing hard against the cabinets. Groaning, Dr. Collins falls to the floor as he witnesses the robot in front of him begin to shake and vibrate. The eyes' red glow, growing intensity before shaking and shutting down completely. The lab fell silent as the red glowing eyes faded. For a moment, it seemed as if the terror had ended. But as Dr. Collins heaved a sigh of relief, the AI suddenly jolted back to life. The spirit had grown even stronger, resisting the shutdown attempt. Eva 9's body jerked and twitched, and a sinister laugh echoed throughout the room. In a final act of desperation, Dr. Collins gets to his feet and runs to the pillar closest to the robot and rips out an electrical conduit, sparks flying everywhere. "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!" The once magnificent Eva 9 and triggers a massive surge of electricity, overloading the robot's circuits. Eva 9 convulsed violently, and then all fell silent. The malevolent presence was gone, and the lab was once again quiet and still. With such a close encounter with the supernatural, Dr. Alexander Collins was never the same again. Unable to explain what exactly happened to his multi-billion-dollar experiment, Dr. Collins was fired and, by his own choice, never worked in the field of AI technology again. However, Gentron Industries ignored his pleas to leave the pursuit of AI technology alone, and so the project of EVA 9 was quickly picked back up, for no one believed in the possibility that artificial intelligence and the supernatural could become an unholy combination. And with that, dear listener, I hope that you take this story of Spectral Code as a chilling reminder of the thin line between human ingenuity and the supernatural. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. Until next time.